All right, YouTube friends and family. This is Talib Kareem, CEO of Abe Legal. We are an online platform that helps businesses and families and individuals find and book appointments with lawyers all around the country and soon all around the world. You can find out about us at abe.legal. So today is August 12th, 2020. And as you may know, the big news yesterday was that former Vice President Biden selected Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris from California, the junior senator, to be his running mate on the Democratic ticket. Very big news. But to me, something even bigger was the lack of progress made on extending the $600 a week additional unemployment benefits that benefits 31 million Americans across the country. So I'm going to go over some quick numbers and facts for you about this. So again, as you may know, almost 2 weeks ago, the unemployment benefits that were implemented after the pandemic started, $600 a week, which comes out to about, again, $2,400 a month, amounting to the same salary that somebody would make if they were working 40 hours a week or at a $15 an hour job. That money that 31 million Americans depended upon completely stopped. Right, the time ran out on it, and Congress and the White House refused to negotiate even an extension, a temporary extension, to keep these benefits going while they negotiated a larger package. On the one hand, the Democrats said, well, if we allow them to negotiate on just the unemployment benefits and allow for an extension on these only, then they won't basically, meet at the bargaining table on the other important aspects of their proposals, which included money for schools, included monies for state governments, included hazard pay. So a lot of good stuff. But at the same time, the really, urgent nature, again, of that legislation were the unemployment benefits. Why? Well, as we talked about on some of my broadcasts on Facebook and also Instagram, was that 31 million Americans, right, depend upon these unemployment benefits, right? $600 a week. Without those benefits, an additional 5.1 million Americans who are employed at businesses that are being patronized by those 31 million Americans who get that money, those jobs will be cut. And so not only will there be 31 million Americans depending upon unemployment benefits, but there would be an additional 5.1 million Americans. So that would be, again, from 31 to 36 million Americans depending upon unemployment benefits or being unemployed, essentially, over, in fact, that amount. So that's the one issue. Second of all, the argument that was made by some Republicans was that the unemployment benefits, the $600 a week benefits, were keeping some people from basically going back to the workplace. This was totally, again, a ridiculous notion, because as you may know, and of course they know, that there are currently between 4 and 5 million jobs that are basically unfilled today in this pandemic. So that means that if there are 31 million people who are unemployed, at least that many, some expect that actually it's probably double that, because there are actually more, some would say more like 20 or 30 million Americans who can't even qualify for unemployment benefits. But again, that's a topic for another discussion. But again, there's an idea that over 31 million people who, again, are getting unemployment benefits, who, again, would have to fit into only 4 to 5 million jobs. That means that there's essentially 5 to 6 workers for every job, 6 workers for every job, essentially, in America right now that is open. So the idea that these people are not working because of the unemployment benefits is totally ridiculous. Second of all, $600 a week, which amounts to essentially $24,000. $2,400 a month, amounting to about $26,000 a year, is absolutely only 1/3 of what you need to survive in some places such as DC or in California. The cheapest state in the country is Mississippi. And in that state, you need at least double that just to meet the basic income, survival income of a household in Mississippi, which is the cheapest state in the country. So again, these are some of the pressing things that Congress needs to be aware of, and the White House needs to be aware of, and the president's move to sign an executive order on unemployment benefits, which proposed a $300 to replace the $600 a week with $300 from the federal government and an extra $100 from the state governments, is totally bogus. Because on the one hand, that $300 plus up from the federal government comes from FEMA money. And that FEMA money is supposed to be used for pandemic or for hurricanes and other natural disasters. So if there's a big natural disaster, then all that money would be taken out. Second of all, even in best case scenario, there's only 4 weeks of that money even left in the FEMA reserve. So again, this idea that Congress and the president can just chill out and not negotiate a new agreement is ridiculous. Right now, according to the House Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, the House of Representatives, which is necessary in order to pass a new bill to refund the $600 a week benefits, they are out of session until September 12th. So again, this is clearly a train wreck waiting to happen. In fact, again, I was in the store just on this weekend, Sunday, and a woman remarked, and this was in a fairly well-to-do neighborhood in Washington, D.C., probably a neighborhood that a lot of folks who work on Capitol Hill and some of the other government offices work. And she said, "Well, wow, this place is empty," and the store clerk said, "Yeah, you're right." Especially on a Sunday when mainly a lot of people come to shop, and likely it's because of those unemployment benefits being affected. People think the unemployment benefits are just for the poor, but that's not true. There's a lot of folks who are like myself, for example, self-employed people who, again, whose income was essentially, decimated or essentially at least reduced because of the pandemic, who are again out there depending upon that. Uber drivers, even dentists and nurses and other people whose offices are closed because of the pandemic. So this is something that is definitely benefiting, again, a very broad section of the American economy. And I wanted to make sure that there was an update on that. Now, how does that relate to the announcement of the selection of Kamala Harris, the junior senator from California, to join the ticket of former Vice President Biden, who is the putative Democratic nominee for president of the United States? Well, the reason why it's related is because on this day in which there was an announcement made by Biden of his running mate, there was hardly any talk at all of the unemployment benefits. If I was the chairman or the campaign manager of that campaign, I would have it gone out specifically and exactly with, again, a stark contrast for Americans to see that you being not just focused on your running mate, but you being focused on them, the American people, your employers, right? And telling them that, again, with Senator Harris, you're going to have a stronger fighter to make sure that, again, things such as unemployment benefits for 31 million people who depend upon them because of the pandemic is not ever hung up over politics. So that's something, again, I think was a missed opportunity. And I hope it's not a sign of what's to come, that, again, in a possible Biden-Harris administration, important topics such as people's financial and, in fact, physical survival will be trumped by by politics and by the television cycle. I hope that's not the case. And again, we're going to see basically if there's even going to be a Biden-Harris administration, because again, there's nothing I believe to guarantee that there won't be a re-election of the president. So again, these are some of the issues I wanted to bring to your attention today on the 12th of August, at least in the morning time. If there's a change on the negotiations over those unemployment benefits that are important, you can expect us to get back to you on that. This is Abe for President. It's a new podcast that was launched, in fact, today, to first of all highlight the important role of the most famous lawyer in American history, known as Abraham Lincoln, or Honest Abe, and to talk about again his pragmatic approach to politics and the things that he went about doing in his life, and particularly both running for president and after he became president. Clearly, this isn't to kind of canonize or deify him, because he was certainly no saint by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, you can ask one of his so-called political nemesis to some extent, and that's Frederick Douglass, if again Lincoln was a saint, and he would, I'm sure, tell you just the opposite. But I think it is certainly a good conversation and a good time for this conversation, and we look forward to bringing to you these updates, hopefully daily, if we can get it out at least 5 times a week. So that's our update. Hope you will go and subscribe to this channel, like the channel. If you have any comments, you have any questions, anything that we can do to help you, your family, your business, your nonprofit organization to survive. You need help with applying for grants. If you need help with addressing issues at work because of the COVID pandemic, if you need help with, again, reviewing contracts as small businesses relating to the pandemic, maybe even going after some of the insurance money, for example, that some of the businesses are not being able to get, don't hesitate to contact abe.legal and schedule an appointment that is virtual, safe, from your home or your business, again, with one of our qualified lawyers who's available for you day or night. Looking forward to having more conversations with you. This is Talib Kareem, CEO of abe.legal, and have a great day.